Hello everyone and welcome to Dutch Greybeard. I was tagged by Fede Books to do the New York book tag. These are 9 questions about New York. Only 3 of them are about books, so I suppose I'll turn this tag into a on the side video. So let's go through the questions. Number 1. Favorite book set in or around New York? At first I thought about the New York trilogy by Paul Auster, but on second thought I choose Brooklyn Follies by the same author. I read this book in January of 2007. One of the most impressive parts is the story about the writer Franz Kafka. One day, it's just a few months before his passing, he meets a little girl on the street. She's crying because she's lost her doll. Kafka wants to comfort her and tells her that the doll is traveling. When the girl asks him how he knows this, he says, "She wrote me a letter." This is the beginning of a series of letters from the doll to the girl. Every day for 3 weeks, Kafka writes a letter to the girl who clings to it. Ultimately, Kafka has to close this situation, and he decides that the doll has gotten married. She is starting a new life and can therefore no longer be with the girl. The girl no longer misses the doll. Kafka has given her something else instead. She had the story, and when a person is lucky enough to live inside a story, to live inside an imaginary world, the pains of this world disappear. For as long as the story goes, reality no longer exists. There is another nice moment which shows how one of the characters, the little girl Lucy, takes words literally. At school, they each day get a packet of milk. "Go get your milk," the teacher says to the children. Every time, Lucy stays at the back and waits until everyone has taken milk. She didn't know which of the packages was hers, so she let the other children get their milk first, thinking that they apparently knew which package was theirs. The package that was thus left had to be her package. I love that. Question number 2. New York is famous for its skyscrapers. What's the highest building you have been up to? When I visited New York for the first time in 1982, I got up the World Trade Center and looked down on Manhattan, thinking I was up in a plane. Question number 3. New York, New York, so good they named it twice. What is the last book you reread? On audio, I listened to Duncton Quest by William Horwood, the second novel in the Duncton Chronicles. I did a separate video on that listening experience. Question number 4. American Psycho was a disturbing novel set in New York. What is the most disturbing book you have ever read? Well, I don't read horror, at least not if I can help it. So I guess I would have to name the many Holocaust books I've read by writers who experienced the death camps of the Nazis, like Primo Levi, Jorge Semprún, and Imre Kertész. These authors wrote some pretty disturbing books about their time at the end of World War II. Question number 5. Where were you when 9/11 happened? I remember that day vividly. Me and my then wife were visiting her sister who lives in Mallorca, Spain. That day we were touring around the island, and on the TVs that are always on in shops and cafes, we saw the footage of the planes crashing into the towers, but we couldn't place it. By no means could we anticipate what was really going on. We thought we were seeing a movie of some kind. But back at the house, I instantly understood the gravity of the attack. I also knew right away, somehow, that Osama bin Laden must have been involved. I got very frustrated because I couldn't understand the Spanish commentary on the newsreels. Next morning, I bought 2 English newspapers to get up to speed. Question number 6. What is your favorite movie set in New York? That would have to be You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. It's a feel-good movie with the famous line, "Don't you love New York in the fall?" Question number 7. Have you been to New York? Twice now. Once in 1982, as I mentioned above, and second in 2008. Both times I felt right at home in this dynamic city. Question number 8. Who's your favorite painter from New York? I really have no clue. Art interests me very much, but I've no idea where painters originate from. I can tell you my 2 favorite painters though, but I'm convinced that both are not from New York. Number 1 is Francis Bacon, who was born in Dublin, Ireland, and the second one is Alberto Giacometti, who is also a superb sculptor, and he was born in Switzerland. Question number 9. What is your favorite song about New York? Again, no clue. The only one that comes to mind is the famous song by Frank Sinatra, but that is really not my kind of music. I mainly listen to progressive metal and classical music. So just to give some answer, I'll name my favorite prog metal album, which is Virus by the British band Haken. And my favorite classical composers are Dmitri Shostakovich, Gustav Mahler, and Richard Wagner. Question number 10 is not a question. It says that I have to tag other people. I'll tag Digger Dan Reads and Nev's book channel. And guys, if you do not want to do this book tag, I understand completely. Thank you very much for watching this video. Until we meet again at Dutch Greybeard.